You're listening to Charting Cryptos, Commodities, and Currencies. Let's jump, as we always do, into Bitcoin first. We're looking at the 24-hour-a-day Bitcoin chart, and we see that Bitcoin is up for the day, 2.29%. What a rocket. Again, we can see an average volume starting this latest move off after 2 weeks of down moves and a pullback. And of course, we saw higher than average volume, which is what we like to see on the most recent low, the red down candle there. And then, of course, average volume where things took off and just kept building. Bitcoin started this move somewhere in the neighborhood. And again, these Heikin-Ashi opened 41,909 to a high this week of $73,679. Absolutely beautiful. And it was something we were able to chart. Again, Bitcoin getting better. We have tracked Bitcoin for years now. And of course, it has been on again, off again, being able to track, gotten much better lately as this latest move started up. Let's look at Ethereum. Where are we with Ethereum? Well, Ethereum, again, as we look at things, we can see where it hit the interim low a week before it took off with higher than average volume. That was a 22nd week beginning the 22nd of January. Then went down some the next week without a lot of volume. So again, nothing that would get you into that down move. And then higher than average volume with a green spinning top, and Ethereum took off somewhere on the Heikin-Ashi open around $2,332 to a high this week of $4,095. Boom. I mean, again, absolutely beautiful. When it's rocking, it's rocking. Now, let's take a look at what's up with our Bitwise 10 cryptocurrency index fund. As we explain every week, this top 10 cryptocurrencies weighted as per market share, and it is a booming. Again, we saw things as they dumped and really dumped the 16th of January. Then we saw average volume that next week, but we really were at the interim low that first week. Just like we saw with Ethereum, things continued to pull back some. Then they turned around and started building. So again, we saw this fund start off somewhere with the Heikin-Ashi open around $20.45 to a high this week of $39.78. Just amazing the way these things have been going. When they crash big. When they take off big. Let's move now from cryptocurrencies to commodities, and then we'll get into currencies. Got a number for you to look at. We talked last week about corn starting a turnaround. Well, it did, and we saw, of course, what? Interim low with higher than average volume, then higher than average volume for the spinning top turnaround, and looks like corn is moving up for us, up this week. Beautiful. Let's see where we are with copper. Now, again, we saw average when things hit the low there starting the week of the 5th of February. Next week continued on, didn't do much, lots of indecision. Then with higher than average volume took off and up, just a booming up copper this week. Now, that shouldn't surprise you because gold has been booming. And of course, we talked about this with silver. Silver started to take off. But again, we didn't have that interim low here with average or above average volume, did we? We had just below average volume when things hit the low back on the 22nd of January, then tried to move up, then back down. Then we had the spinning top. And then we had, again, another spinning top without a lot of movement. Then a doji, and then silver this last week really started. Hard to find any good entry point in there when we look at the weekly chart on a jumping in for silver. But nonetheless, silver has turned around. It boomed up last week, booming up this week. So again, shouldn't surprise us that, copper turns around and moves up with the other metals, gold being, of course, the big one, like Bitcoin, and it seems to be carrying the others. Now, what about soybeans? We talked about how soybeans had hit a bottom, above average volume when it hit the bottom. And then, of course, booming last week of the green spinning top and then up this week. So again, beautiful. And you know, that's it. That's gold. We've been talking about gold. We talk about it every day. But of course, gold moving up, not hitting the high that it hit last week yet, but still long on it, moving in the right direction. Let's look at the world currencies, just three. We'll look at the British pound. Now, it really hammered up last week, hasn't hit that high so far this week, up a little bit for the day, but does appear to be moving in the right direction. 3 days into this weekly candle, we're only about halfway, so we'll see where the volume goes. But again, British pound moving in the right direction for the English. We look at where the euro is, and of course the euro for the last 4 weeks has been trying to push higher. Last week, the high was 101.19. This week, 101.22. So again, edging a little bit higher. And of course, the yen. We talked about the yen bottoming last week. And again, as we look at, check this out right here. Let's see. The low was 61.40. That next week, 61.48, 61.43. And then we had the green spinning top with a little bit higher than average volume. Again, 2 weeks later, but again, didn't tap that low again and then started to take off and moving up this week. So the yen moving in the right direction for the Japanese. That is where we are, my friends. Always great to bring this information to you. We love to hear from you. CW@chartingwealth.com. Don't hesitate to reach out to us with any questions, problems, concerns. If you have particular currencies or ETFs when it comes to commodities that you'd like us to look at for you, go ahead and throw those out to us. We'll be happy to try to plug those in, see what patterns we see. God bless. Take care.